Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. Let's invoke the blessing of the Lord before we read. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanishalakaya Chakshurulmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namah Vanchakalpacharubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhaiva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govindaha Sarvakarana Karanam. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तविंदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So we have been reading from the book Trinadapi Sunichena by Srila Gaur Govinda Swami Maharaj. Srila Gaur Govinda Swami Maharaj ki jai. So we were reading Give up pride to develop Krishna Prem. Devotee. So there are question and answer. Devotee. Krishna has said in the Gita that if one does not understand Shastra, then they will fall down. But here it seems like you are describing knowledge of Shastra as an impediment to bhakti. I don't understand two different statements. Srila Gaur Govinda Swami. We are sadhakas who are practicing sadhana. Sadhana bhakti has two stages, Vaidhi and Raganuga. The first stage is Vaidhi for the neophytes. Neophytes must follow all of the Shastric rules and regulation of Vedi Bhakti very strictly. When the heart becomes purified by strictly following the rules and regulations, then one comes to the next stage of Bhakti, which is Raganuga Bhakti. Mahaprabhu's teaching is Raga Bhakti. We are all Gaura Bhaktas, all devotees of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu gives Krishna Prem through the chanting the holy name. Attainment of that prema is the purpose of this rarely achieved human birth. This is Mahaprabhu's teaching. Mahaprabhu is Prema Purushottama. He gives Krishna Prem. Generally, we do not speak such things to neophyte. However, I find many older devotees are here. They have been in the movement for many years. They are not neophytes. He who's there in me prompted me to speak what I did. Therefore, I said it. Even neo-physics will obtain some benefit out of it when they hear. They can understand. Yes, this prema is pure. There is no tinge of materialism, no tinge of lust in it. Prema means Atmendriya Priti Vancha Tare Bali Kama. Krishnendriya Priti Ichhadhare Prema Nama. The desire to gratify one's own senses is kama, but desire to please the senses of Lord Krishna is prema. What appears in this material world to be love is only lust. There is no prema at all. It is all lust, a perverted reflection of real love. Prema is there in the abode of Lord. Mahaprabhu came here and spoke about it, and he gives that prema through chanting the holy name. He gives the highest achievement to people in Kali Yuga. People living in other yugas cannot achieve it. It is very difficult on their part to acquire it. Mahaprabhu has appeared in this special Kali Yuga. He does not come in other Kali Yugas. He thinks himself, he thinks to himself, quote, I will give the highest achievement to the people of this Kali Yuga. Mahaprabhu is so wonderfully merciful, wonderfully magnanimous, and wonderfully munificent. He is freely giving this prema to us. All of Mahaprabhu's teachings, the entire Chaitanya Charitamrita, speaks about Raganuga Bhakti, Rag Marg Bhakti. This is the other part of Sadhana Bhakti. Mahaprabhu's teaching is based upon Raganuga Bhakti, and his bhajana is Vipralamba Bhajan, wherein he feels pangs of separation, just as gopis and Radharani are crying. Mahaprabhu is also crying because he is in Radha Bhav. He is teaching us this movement is Mahaprabhu's movement. The founder Acharya of this International Society for Krishna Consciousness, our revered spiritual master Srila Prabhupada, is very, very dear, intimate devotee of Mahaprabhu, a Gaur Priyajana. He is fully empowered by Mahaprabhu. The Western world is a world of Malechas and Yavanas. How can they obtain the highest achievement, Krishna Prem? It is impossible, impossible, impossible. It is even impossible for Lord Brahma to obtain that. So, how can the Malechas and Yavanas obtain it? It is only by his wonderful mercy and the mercy of his dear devotee, Gaur Priyajan. It is Mahaprabhu's desire. पृथ्वी आछे यत नग्र आदि ग्राम सर्वत्र प्रचार हइबे मोर नाम. In every town and village, the chanting of my name will be heard. Mahaprabhu has said that in every town and village, in all corners of the world, his name will be glorified. Gora is Prema Purushottama. The name of Prema Purushottama will be sung. And there is no Prem? How can anyone say that? Just sing the name Jai Sachinandan Gora Hari Ki Jai. He who's Prema Purushottama, who's indiscriminately giving Krishna Prem. How can you sing his name without Prema? Bolo, bolo, bolo. What kind of question are you asking me? That Prema is the goal of our life. Uddhava is such a dear devotee, but what does he say? He had such pride, but when that pride was crushed, then he condemned himself. Quote, my life is useless. It is such a day, it is such a dry life because I have no prema, only jnana, sukha, dry knowledge. This is Mahaprabhu's teaching. Mahaprabhu's bhajana dhara, his process of bhajana, is based on vipralamba bhava, feelings, feeling pangs of separation and crying, crying, crying. Yugaitam nimishena chakshusha प्रवर्ष्यायितं शून्यायितं जगत सर्वं गोविंद विरहेण में. Oh Govinda, feeling your separation, I am considering one moment to be 12 years or more, and tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of love, of rain. I am feeling all vacant in this world in the absence of you. What is Mahaprabhu's teaching? Feeling the pangs of separation from Govinda, a nimeshena, a moment, seems to be a great yuga, Chakshusha pravashayitam. Tears are rolling down from the eyes like torrents of rain. Shunnaitam jagat sarvam Govinda virhenami. Feeling pangs of separation from Govinda. The whole world seemed to be empty. Where is Govinda? Where is Govinda? Where is Govinda? Mahaprabhu has said, Kahan mora pran natha murli vadana. Kahan karo kahan pan Vrajendra Nandana. Quote, where is the Lord of my life? Who's playing this his flute? What shall I do now? Where should I go to find the son of Maharaj Ananda? Mahaprabhu is saying this and crying, where shall I go? Where shall I find Krishna with a flute on his lips? Murli Vadana Krishna. Is there anyone who can help me to find that son of Nanda Maharaj? Kahere kahiba keva jane mora dukha. Vrajendra Nandana Vinufate Mora Bhuka. Quote, to whom can I express my feelings? Is there any intimate friend before whom I can express the pain I feel in my heart, the the pangs of separation that I feel from Vrajendra Nandana, the son of Nanda Maharaj? My heart is cracking, cracking, cracking. To whom can I speak? Is there anyone who can understand that pain I feel? Mahaprabhu utters this and cries, whose movement is this? It is Mahaprabhu's movement. He who cries for Krishna, who's known as Prema Purushotama, it is his movement. Without that Prema, how can you be in the movement, Baba? You cannot be a member of this movement with a dry heart. Mahaprabhu came and flooded the whole world with the waves of Krishna Prema. One who cannot develop that Prema is a Dina Evasa, unfortunate, ill-fated, and most degraded. अवतीर्णे घोरचंद्रे विस्तीर्णे प्रेम सागरे सुप्रकाशिता रत्नौघे यो दिन दिन एवसा. Quote, the advent of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is like an expanding ocean of nectar. One who does not collect the valuable jewels within that ocean is certainly the poorest of the poor. Mahaprabhu is flooding the whole world with an unlimited ocean of waves of prema. But one who cannot receive it, what is he? Srila Prabodh Nanda Saraswati has said that such a person is Dina Ivasa. He is ill-fated and most degraded. Devotee, you have spoken about Mahaprabhu's inner mood and his external mood. We are preachers from the West. We have to preach to many people about external things like vegetarianism. How important is it then for a preacher to understand Mahaprabhu's inner mood? Srila Gaur Govind Swami. Are Baba, preach to them about vegetarianism and this and that, but you should understand what the goal is, where to go. If you do not understand what the goal is, then you will go hither and thither. The goal is there. We must proceed to that end. So now this chapter is finished. Chapter 9, chapter 10 will start tomorrow in the interest of time. Srila Gaur Govinda Swami Maharaj ki jai. So now we'll read Srila Prabhupada Leelamrita. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. His Holiness Satsvarup Das Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. So we are at the chapter, please distribute books. Keshav Bharati. I used to distribute books in the San Francisco airport. I thought that this airport was particularly difficult and that if I could be in LA, I could probably distribute as many books as Tirupurari. I was a little proud. Then I got the chance to distribute with him. I'm very outgoing and gregarious, so I don't have any problem stopping people or anything like that. But half an hour and then an hour went by, and Tripurari had distributed 5 and then 10 books. But I could not get anybody to stop and shake my hand even. It was incredible. But I knew it was because I was too proud. Another hour went by, and still no one would stop and shake my hand. I was bewildered because I wanted to pass out Prabhupada's books. Finally, I sat down out of frustration. I was nearly crying. Tripurari came up and preached to me. He told me I should pray to Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda in the times like this and not to worry about it, that this happens. So I got it together, and then about 10 to 15 people in a row came and talked with me, and some of them took books. So when we discussed it afterward, we could understand that we were just instruments in the Lord Chaitanya's hands. This is how we developed Sankirtana philosophy. Through the book distributions, we came to realize who Prabhupada was and to appreciate him more. Lavanga Latika. All day, I would stand at the top of the stairs, and thousands of people would come by, and we would distribute hundreds and hundreds of books. We used to take lines from Prabhupada's books. Tripurari used to talk about the swans taking milk from water. So we used to use that a lot in approaching someone. We would say how these great sages used to know how to separate milk from water, separate the essence. He also said the pictures were windows to the spiritual world. We would say this book is like brilliant sun that will drive away the darkness of ignorance in this age of Kali. I found the best way to distribute the books was to use Prabhupada's own words. Prabhupada said, if we read one line to someone, that person can make 100 times spiritual advancement. One time, a devotee complained to Prabhupada that people were throwing some of the books away. But then we could understand that Prabhupada wanted them distributed on a large scale. Not that you kept the book for a special person you thought might be intelligent enough to read it. Because Prabhupada had said that if they read only one line, they would be very much affected. So we could understand that Prabhupada wanted mass distribution, not what we just keep them for special right persons. Next, Surah. Where Sasika was selling books in the airport with me, he would walk up to people and say, well, how are you doing, sir? All glories to Sri Krishna Sankirtan movement, the prime benediction for humanity at large, which cleanses the heart. He was repeating the Shashtaka prayers of Lord Chaitanya right out of the book, and yet he was selling books. The books had pictures of Krishna and devotional scenes on the cover, and sometimes devotees could not understand how people could relate to these books. But Prabhupada wanted them distributed, and he was saying that we should preach on the merit of the book. When a devotee asked Prabhupada what we should say to distribute books, Prabhupada replied, Krishne Swa Dhamo Bhagate, which is the verse that says Srimad Bhagavatam is the brilliant is as brilliant as the sun, and it has arisen just to give people religion in this age of darkness. So we were also repeating that verse and distributing books on faith. We would go out and see the people actually becoming struck by Krishna consciousness. They would see that devotees were very sincere and serious, and they would become impressed. Daily on Sankirtana, we would see people appreciating Prabhupada's books. There was also harassment, but Prabhupada had talked about it, that there was always difficulty. So everything was there from Prabhupada to confirm whatever realization we had. Srila Prabhupada said a book salesman would sometimes have difficulty because he will be sometimes accepted and sometimes rejected, but he tolerates. In the airport, we met professors, lawyers, all kinds of people who would stop and talk. They would challenge, and we would constantly have to defend Prabhupada books and his movement and speak up on behalf of Prabhupada. More so than when we were just kids out on the parking lots talking to women and begging 50 cents for a pack of incense. We were presenting Prabhupada books to the scholars, coming in contact with Mayavadis, scientists, businessmen, people who were very sharp in Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, and San Diego. People there were very sharp and hard, and just by having to spiritually combat them and defend the movement, we became more mature in our understanding of Prabhupada books and how to present them in such a way that we would convince even people who did not want to be convinced. We had to study Prabhupada books. In 1974, several new parties formed just for distributing books. Tripurari had been traveling as an emissary from Los Angeles, but now, with Prabhupada's permission, he formed a Bhakti Vedanta Book Trust (BBT) Sankirtan party of some leading book distributors. The BBT distributors stationed themselves in various airports around the country, creating a significant increase in book distribution. Your entire program is approved by me, Prabhupada wrote to Tripurari. When Tripurari asked if he could take sannyas, Prabhupada replied that he was already doing more than any sannyasi. In one letter, Prabhupada called him the incarnation of book distribution. Book distribution took another great stride forward when Tamal Krishna Goswami, Srila Prabhupada's zonal secretary in India for 4 years, returned to US. Joining with his friend Vishnu Jana Swami, he helped form the Radha Damodar Sankirtan party, traveling in a bus with Radha Krishna deities to distribute books and hold festivals all over the US. Tamal Krishna Goswami. When we first began Radha Damodar party, our idea was to make as many devotees as possible by holding festivals at which we chanted Hare Krishna and distributed prasadam. After Krishna went, so many nice young men, it was difficult to keep them always engaged. Then suddenly a letter arrived from Srila Prabhupada in which he said that the Kirtana of book distribution was better than the Kirtana of public chanting. This transcendental instruction changed the course of our Radha Damodar party. From then on, I concentrated more and more on book distribution, and this gave Prabhupada greater and greater pleasure. I had been in India for 4 years, but our main program had been enrolling life members. But now that I was in America, Srila Prabhupada was reminding me that preaching meant to distribute his books. So I became inspired that our party should distribute so many books that is equal all of other book distribution of the rest of ISKCON worldwide. Day and night, I was thinking of how to get more and more books and thus overflood America with transcendental literature. Srila Prabhupada wrote to me that this was his real ambition to turn all of America into Vaishnavas. Until we formed our Radha Damodar party, until we formed our Radha Damodar party, the method of distributing books had been that an individual would be given either a large, medium, or small book according to the sizes of donation. But Prabhupada told me that all types of book distributions to distribute his large books was most important. So I always considered how to increase the number of large books. The problem was that people were willing to give small donation, but rarely would give us large enough contributions to avoid giving them a large book. Then Krishna gave me the idea that by adding together a few small donations from a number of persons, at least one of them could be given a large book, while others could be given a Back to Godhead magazine or small book. By this method, we were able to increase book distribution of big books tremendously. Prabhupada fully approved of this idea. As long as Book Fund received payment for the books, Srila Prabhupada allowed us to pass them out as quickly as could, irrespective of the size of donation. Thus, our Radha Damodar party was able to distribute as many as 50,000 big books in a single month. Wow, 50,000 books in one month. Srila Prabhupada showed special interest in the Radha Damodar party and approved loans from BBT for the purchase of more buses, thus creating a Sankirtan army traveling in a renovated Greyhound buses. By the end of 1974, Radha Damodar party had three buses, vans, and numerous men. Prabhupada called the buses moving temples, and he urged Radha Damodar devotees to continue their program with certainty that they were pleasing Lord Chaitanya. Quote, I am glad that you have understood the importance of my books. Prabhupada wrote, quote, therefore, I am stressing it so much. Let everyone take these books. Srila Prabhupada encouraged Radha Damodar party to expand to hundreds of buses and thus fulfill the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to bring Krishna consciousness to every town and village. When a tight trans- when a tight transcendental competition arose between the Los Angeles Temple, Tripurari's BBT party, and the Radha Damodar party, Prabhupada watched and approved it with pleasure. Another party forming in 1974 was BBT Library Party. It began with Hridayananda Goswami's sending some brahmacharis from his traveling party to visit prestigious universities in New England. The man attempted to sell entire sets of Srila Prabhupada books to the professors, and even in their first attempts, they met with great success. Srila Prabhupada had long cherished this idea, and even before coming to America, he had gone to libraries in India with copies of Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto. By his efforts in New Delhi, United States Library of Congress had obtained copies of those early volumes. Now his desire to see his books placed in all of the US libraries and universities was becoming a reality. Within a few months, professors began writing favorable reviews, and some even ordered Prabhupada books for their college courses. I am very much like this program of standing orders. Prabhupada wrote, try to increase it up to 50,000 such orders from the libraries. Another party that formed in 1974 was Namhata, a group of brahmacharis led by two sannyasis. The Namhata party would travel and distribute books, donating their profits towards Srila Prabhupada's projects in Bombay, Mayapur, and Vrindavan. When Srila Prabhupada became ill for several weeks in September of 1974, the book distribution reports were his best medicine. Whenever I get report of my book selling, he wrote to the library party, I feel strength. Even now in this weekend condition, I have got strength from your report. And during the same illness, he wrote to Rameshwara. Regarding book sales figures, please endeavor in this way. This is the only solace of my life. When I hear that my books are selling so nicely, I became energetic like a young man. Srila Prabhupada recovered his health, and by the end of 1974, his BBT was also in extraordinary health. With the temples again competing in a furious Christmas marathon. In America, the BBT reported to Prabhupada that approximately 387,000 hardbound books had been sold during a year, a 67% increase over the previous year, and almost 4 million Back to Godheads had been sold, an 89% increase. The American BBT sold the individual temple a total of 66 million pieces of literature, a 60% increase. Such news, Srila Prabhupada, such news made Srila Prabhupada become energetic like a young man. And Prabhupada and his book distribution movement headed in 1975 with all signs of increasing and doubling and tripling the already astounding figures of 1974. So this section is finished. In the interest of time, we'll stop here. We'll start next section tomorrow. Anybody has any question, correction, chastisement, or any realization? So, dear devotees, there are many lessons from today's learning actually. So, when we were reading Trinadapi Sunichena, we talked about the prem, right? And they are saying the difference between prem and lust, right? So, prem really is sacrifice actually, not the sense gratification, which is ulta in this material world. When people do the sense gratification, they use the word love. Actually, the love means to have other another person pleasure, and in true sense, to have Krishna pleasure. And that is why two pure devotee can love each other because both the pure devotee, their goal is to please Krishna. When their goal is to please Krishna, then actually, though that is love, that love is misunderstood as lust here. And another thing, the teaching was Mahaprabhu's that until we cry for Krishna, right, the pure love we will not experience and will not manifest. And this crying happen when our heart is clean. And in Prabhupada book distribution, right, the one thing was good and mesmerizing that how during 72 to 75, so much millions of books got distributed and they are still sitting in some homes, isn't it? So this is so nice that millions and millions of books got distributed. And this Radha Damodar party is a great thing. So, dear devotees, this Thanksgiving we should try and give as a token of thanks in form of books wherever we have opportunity, so that somebody else's life will also be successful. And that is the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and that is the mission of Srila Prabhupada. Or even one or two lines, if we read to somebody, that person will get benefited, definitely. So we'll stop here unless anybody has any question, and we'll continue chanting. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya कृपा सिंधु च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः अनंत कोटि वैष्णविंद की जय. Thank you, dear devotees, for listening to me, and please